Thank you so much, Nisha. Okay, how are we doing? Awesome. So we are a small but mighty group, and you made the right choice by being here this afternoon. So thank you for joining us. You're going to be in for about 40 minutes of hopefully content that resonates with you. I would like you to imagine a father and his son are in a car accident. The son is rushed to the hospital. In the emergency room, the surgeon looks at the boy and says, "I cannot operate him. He's my son." How is that possible? Yes. And so for all of you who thought right away, this is a mom, even if it's the first time you heard this story, good job. But for every one of you who, like me, the first time you heard this story, didn't go straight to the mom and assumed the surgeon was male, well, you are not alone. In fact, presented to this riddle, about only 15% of the population gets it right the first time. So why do we assume the surgeon is male? Are we bad people? Let me reassure you, we're not bad people. But, and I really like this quote for its simplicity, if you have a brain, you're biased. And so we are all biased. As long as we are human, we are biased. I like to think about it that way. When we were born, we are free of all glasses. We don't have any filter through which we experience the world. As we grow up, we start wearing glasses, and they are made of the experiences that we make, the beliefs from our parents and our education. And as we grow older and older, the glass gets more and more tinted. In the US, about 80% of the surgeons are male, so it's totally okay that your brain defaulted to this fact, to this knowledge, and assumed that the surgeon in the story was male. We take shortcuts every single day. And that's really okay. In fact, it is very important because our brain nowadays is presented with about 150 plus newspaper worth of information every single day. So we have to take shortcuts so we avoid paralysis in the decision making, and we can experience our life. Now, what does it mean? What does it mean for us as product leader and as product owner? It's totally okay to take shortcuts. You probably do in your day-to-day. But we have to recognize that we wear those glasses at key moments of the decision that we take. And that allows us to create better products for all of our customers. So today we're going to talk about 3 biases that I have experienced in my day-to-day life as product owner. We're going to talk about affinity bias, confirmation bias. We're going to talk about survivorship bias. And we're going to talk about how we can overcome those biases to create better products. So let's start with affinity bias. Affinity bias is a tendency to like people who are like you more than anyone else. So for example, you hear me speak and you're like, she's French. I can't hide that. And it usually triggers about 2 reactions in your brain. Either you're like, she's French, I like France, therefore I probably like her, I'm open to what she has to say. Or the other reaction that may be triggered is, she has an accent, I don't really understand what she's saying, can I trust her? So this is obviously a very simplistic example of affinity bias. There are many, many layers in affinity bias. But the bottom line is this. As you navigate your product, as you navigate the experiences of your customers, you probably are more around your circle of trust and the people who you like. But where is your customer in that circle? I don't know if you read the news last week about Uber. There is a report that came out in 2018, a woman got hit by a self-driving car, and she was walking her bike. She was crossing the street. And it turns out the report says that that woman actually has been perceived by the self-driving car about 6 seconds before the impact. And at that time, she got classified as a vehicle. And then for the remaining 5 seconds afterward, she got classified as bicycle, other, bicycle, boom. So the car didn't stop. And it never classified her as a human. Why? Well, it turns out, and the report says that this woman was jaywalking. She wasn't crossing in a crosswalk. And the car didn't know that humans can do that. So what does it have to do with affinity bias? Well, while building the algorithm, the team who did build the algorithm didn't think that a human can jaywalk. And the reality is, if you're not walking in your day-to-day life, if you're not walking in the city, why would you assume that a human can just cross outside of a crosswalk? So what would have happened if that team, at the time of building the algorithm, had walked in that woman's shoes? We need to walk in our customers' shoes. We need to walk in our users' shoes to develop empathy for them. Not for the ones that are like us, but for all of our customers. And so there are 2 techniques that I really like to use. And the first one is home visit. So home visits are great to develop empathy with our customers because it helps bridge the say-do gap. They tell us something, they actually do something else. The first time I went in a home visit was about 10 years ago, and this really helped open my eyes to the reality of our customers. So we were observing this woman, single mom, in her living room, and she was trying to buy items, baby items, for her family on eBay. And at the moment where she was looking for the items, her baby woke up from his nap, the phone rang, her older son actually asked something, some help for his homework. There was a lot going on. We surely didn't have in our product all that customers' attention. And understanding this reality really helped me make sure that when that woman needed help from eBay, it was very easy to get. It was one step away, very simple. So another technique I really like to use is customer service side-by-sides. And look, this one is super easy. I try to do it as often as possible. I hope all of you do, and you also give that opportunity to your teams. You create those opportunities for them to do it as well. Because what customer service side-by-sides allows you to do is to create those ha-ha moments. Every time I am in a side-by-side, I get one of those moments where I realize, wait, what just happened? Why is this happening? And it may or may not be related to what I'm actually trying to get insights into. And if it is, great. And if it's not, it goes in my parking lot of things I have to go investigate at a later time. But there has been always a ha-ha moment in those side-by-sides. Because the goal as product owner is that we build product for everyone, not just the people who are like us. We have to recognize the differences in people. So I like to think about it that way. Wear others' glasses. And what that means is date your customer. So I'm not saying date your customer, but I'm saying understand them really genuinely, intimately. And also aim for the outer ring. Because when we focus only on our circle of trust and the people we like, we are missing a huge opportunity for our product. And finally, seek those ha-ha moments. And you can do it today. We have amazing women and men in the room. Just talk to each other at the end of the session. You may experience one of those moments. Now let's move to confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is a little bit like this Venn diagram. And so basically what it means is that your brain unconsciously tends to look at the data that matches, only the data that matches your beliefs. And that's totally normal. You just launched your product. You spend so much time building that product. So it's awesome. Let's show me the data that show that that product is awesome. Also, and that's very true, we tend to perceive error in the works of others more easily than in our own work. So a couple of years ago, my team launched a bot that was aimed at helping customers return their item. And this is what we saw. We saw customers using the bot a lot, and we saw that when they were using it, they were not contacting customer service. So yay, victory, right? The data was telling us exactly what we assumed would happen, so we were done. Well, not too fast. There was one control matrix we had, which was customer satisfaction. And on the surface, customer satisfaction stayed the same. So, you know, all good. The problem is, as we looked a little bit deeper, we saw those weird outliers in our qualitative insights. We saw some comments here and there that didn't fit our expectations. So we decided to go a little bit deeper, scratch the surface. And we identified that for the mass majority of customers, it works well. But for this one thin slice of customer in this one specific use case, we created a loop for our customers, and that sucked. So obviously we fixed it. But here is the thing. Wouldn't we have focused on the outliers in the data, we would never have uncovered that opportunity. In science, they call it looking at the spikes. You really have to look at the spike in the data because this is when something is interesting. So in the interest of time, I'm going to skip this one, but that's a very interesting news that came in about Airbnb, so you can go check it out. But the bottom line is we need to be open to the possibility that something is wrong, as opposed to believing that everything is right with our product. And so I recommend to wear your glasses backwards, and that means seek refutation in the data, not confirmation. And channel your inner scientist to look at those outliers in your daily reports. And so the reason for that is because when we solve those edge cases, we create a better experience for all of our customers. So finally, let's talk about survivorship bias. The most well-known, the birth of survivorship bias, as some say, is from World War II. So it turns out that during World War II, engineers were looking at planes that came back from the battlefield. And those planes had holes, bullet holes, everywhere, except in the cockpit and the engine. So the engineers looked at the machines and said, okay, well, we have to reinforce the plane everywhere, except in the cockpit and the engine. The problem with that is that when a plane is hit in the cockpit or the engine, usually that plane stayed on the battlefield and never made it back for it to be analyzed by the engineers. And so if that is everyone, all of you, I mean, that's your customer. And that's everyone who didn't make it. Let me ask you this. Who has bought something on eBay this year? Raise your hand. Okay, raise your hand higher, please. Okay. Great. So keep your hand up. No, keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. Thank you so much, guys, for buying on eBay. Okay, everyone else. No, keep your hand up. Everyone else, look around. Look around. Now, I want you to not focus on those who raised their hand. I want you to focus on everyone who didn't. Why have they not purchased something on eBay this year? There may be many reasons, but unless we go talk to those people, and I'm going to go and find you and talk to you, then we won't really understand why. We have to be able to understand what's happening with our customers. And so I call it just take the glasses off and look around. Look around because you want to date your non-customer. You want to be able to build not just for your customer, but for that next 100 million users that are going to come to your product if you make it happen. And you want to understand the ecosystem around your product that's going panoramic, because your product does not exist in a silo. It exists in this entire ecosystem that helps you get to that next 100 million user. And finally, I really like this technique of asking what if. Because what if I can't describe what I want to buy on eBay, and that's why I'm not buying on eBay. I really don't know how to describe with words what that thing is I want. But what if I have a picture of that thing? What if I could actually take that picture and search for the thing I want with a picture without describing it with words? Is that an opportunity? So to summarize, I really encourage every one of you to wear others' glasses, and that means engaging in discomfort. To wear your glasses backwards. Look for all those outliers in the data. And finally, take the glasses off and look around. What exactly are you missing on a day-to-day basis? And so to remember that myself, I really like to have a pair of cheap sunglasses on my desk. Because I know that the first thing that will allow us to manage our biases is to acknowledge that we have them. So when I take decisions, I really like to pause and ask myself, why am I making this decision right now? Based on what? So as you go ahead and build your next amazing product, I want to have my Oprah moment. I would like you to reach under the chair, and all of you should have a pair of cheap sunglasses to put on your desk as well. And if you don't, that's okay. You're going to get one at the door afterwards. So don't freak out. You can take this. And the reason for that is, look, this is fun, but this is so important. As product people, we are building the technology of the future. We are really the creator of the world. So we have to make sure that we create the world right for everyone, not for the people who are like us. So I have one final ask of you in the 30 seconds that I don't have left. I would like you, I know you've been wanting to do that for the past 15 minutes, take your phone out, open the camera, and just point it at this QR code. If you could please share your thoughts, I would be very grateful, and I promise that I will wear my glasses backwards when I assess the result. Thank you very much.